I think it is time for NXT to take over.
Suplex City, bitch.
What's your favorite match?
My favorite match was with Melina and Alicia Fox.
Who?
I told my father I'm gonna set up my own lucha league in America, and I'm gonna make it the best league in the world.
I'm gonna leave him in a pile of blood and urine and vomit.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast where we review Monday Night Raw and give all of you lovely ladies and gentlemen the wrestling news of the week that you crave to hear from us ourselves here on the show. And the person that will be delivering that said news and Raw review to you is myself. My name is Turbo Tony. I have been hosting this show for 95 episodes. 95 episodes! We're ever getting closer to episode 100, and it's going to be an awesome time. But nevertheless, I need to introduce the man who will be helping me through this episode. The man who took Viagra to impress Brock Lesnar just like Ryback. It's Matt Marsander!
So I hit this thing last 3 days. Where's Brock Lesnar?
Yeah. You're going to show him how much of a man you are, right?
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to impress him. Yeah.
It's impressive. Almost as impressive as I have been about that sort of table for three thing.
It's like the best thing ever on the network right now. It's like the most amazing thing.
Like, I hadn't seen it, and then the IC Champions one came out, and I was like, okay, let's binge on it, shall we?
All of them laughing about that particular joke made me laugh, and I can't remember the last time that I legitimately laughed at the TV screen with them watching something that had the WWE banner on it, right?
I don't know. I will admit I had quite a good chuckle watching the New Day one.
No, what I mean is in general, in terms of like you know, if you watch it to Raw to the thing, you know, I should be thinking that way about Raw, right? But it's just like 20 minutes of just these three guys having dinner together for some reason is like amazing, hilarious, and is genuinely funny. And you know, part of the good thing about it is that they can actually talk. It seems like for instance, they've just given them full reign to talk about whatever they like in regards to it. So
yeah.
That's awesome. You got like, you know, you had the three legendary female competitors. You know, you had Medusa, Ivory, and Molly Holly, and they're just basically blasting about how much they hate the Divas like moniker. I was like, that's excellent. That's awesome. But yes, if you haven't watched that already, then you guys should go and watch Table for Three.
I'm part way through watching that one.
And who knows, Matt, maybe we'll be having our own Table for Three with an exclusive, well, not so much exclusive, but an important guest, possibly, that myself and Matt are working on. Don't want to say anything else about it now, but Matt knows what I'm talking about. Maybe, just maybe, something in the pipeline. And myself and Matt are working very hard on episode 100. By the way, guys, this week, you'll already see it. It's going to be there on the thumbnail. I'm going to show it to you there this week. It is the design, the complete design that Matt has okayed. I have created, and it's the Let's Talk Wrestling t-shirt. Oh yes, myself and Matt will be rocking one of these to NXT TakeOver London, which we will be attending. I booked my tickets to come and see you, Matt. Booked them today.
I noticed that.
Yeah, so that's awesome, and that means also, I don't know, what is it, Matt? What is it? I'm sure there was a way that our fans could get hold of this exclusive first edition t-shirt. And it involves you guys.
There was something, yeah.
Yeah, it was. You're quite right. I think it was something to do about sending an introduction of our show to us at letstalkwrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. You can, you can impersonate a wrestler. It just has to be entertaining. You can do a skit. It just has to introduce the show. And if you are the best one, bam, you got the shirt. There you go. You've got the first ever Let's Talk Wrestling shirt. And as you can see right now on your screen, it looks fly. Let's just say that, right? You want to be rocking and representing the show, and that's the way to do it. Matt, if they want to tweet us to tell us that they think they're going to win this particular competition, then what is the Twitter handle?
Then they'll have to get on to @TalkWrestlePod.
That is @TalkWrestlePod. And Matt, I feel like saying that 400 times. I'm not going to because that would be incredibly annoying, but Matt, do you also feel like saying some things 400 times over the last week?
It's been kind of hard not to. The news.
My wife is getting incredibly annoyed about it, but that's just the way it is. Guys, we would like to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We have hit our end of year target 2 months early. We have now hit over 400 subscribers, and it's not congratulations to us. It's congratulations to you guys for supporting the show and building us up to this particular milestone. So thank you very much. We did it, and it's all thanks to you guys sharing it and being involved with the show and making it really fun for us on weeks like this week. That Raw doesn't make it that much fun to talk about. So it's awesome that that we've got this milestone, and it's completely off the back of you guys. And don't worry, myself and Matt, we know that, right? We're not going to be one of these people who's just like, yeah, it's all on us, we're amazing. No, it's you guys. You're supporting the show, and well, maybe Matt thinks that way. You are the.
I'm not gonna go with the arrogance.
You're not going to be the actual definition of diva on this show. No, you're not going to. No. Okay. Because diva actually doesn't mean woman, right? It just means a bitchy person, right? You can have a man who's a diva, right? So there you go. So you're not part of the Divas Revolution, then, Matt? No.
I can honestly say no.
No, that's fine. You've always been down to earth, and I appreciate that. So yeah, 400 subscribers. Thank you all. It's been amazing, and as we said there, we have no intentions of stopping. I've set us an extremely high end, I'll admit on the show, quite crazy target next year of hitting 1,000. That is going to be very hard to do, but at very least, that just puts us in overdrive mode, and we'll be producing more content next year than we had this year with the Lucha Underground stuff and everything like that, so we'll be doing great there. Matt, let's explain what we have on this show. We have some interesting news, including a superstar, well, I can't really say that, but anyway, a WWE employee being suspended for 30 days for for violating the wellness policy.
Mm-hmm.
Some other details going in there, including trolling of TNA. And someone being injured by the hands of someone who probably should be wrestling, but we'll get into that. We got a fan feedback, plenty of questions from you guys last week. We do have every inclination of answering every single damn one of them. So that's what we're going to do here on the show. Also, we've got the predictions for NXT Respect. That's, I don't know the rest of that song, but still.
We'll find out what it means to them.
Yeah, sure, Matt. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. So, so we're going to be giving our predictions for the big NXT show that will be happening next Wednesday, and for what is now a 2.5 hour show. They've increased it by half an hour. And also we'll give our Raw review, and we'll give our thoughts onto this Raw. A Raw, Matt, and this leads into our news quite well. I do like my segues every so often. A Raw that went further down on the ratings than the abysmal ones that had preceded it. Yes, not so much in news here, but I wanted to bring it up. The ratings for this Raw are down from last week, which was already abysmal. Now, it wasn't a large drop. It wasn't like hundreds of thousands. You're thinking more about 10, 20,000 viewers. But still, it's down, right? And I don't want to talk about too much, but obviously me and you broke it down last week about what we think, the ratings, why they've been in a situation that they've been in. I put it down to the sports and other things. Yourself you said that it's more in regards to just how missable the show has become. And a few of our fans have weighed in on that as well. So, yeah, this is a problem for WWE. Apparently, Vince is doing his nut. All the reports I've heard is that he is not a happy bunny, and when that happens, more than likely you're going to have some radical changes over the next couple of months in a bid to basically he's going to start calling back a lot of people. You're going to start seeing a lot more Brock Lesnar. You're going to see The Undertaker on the pay-per-view leading up to this, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, for the Raw before Hell in a Cell, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but heavy rumours suggest that he's gone and tried to get, and apparently has got, Stone Cold Steve Austin to appear on Raw before Hell in a Cell. If that's the case, that's the first time Austin's been on Raw in years. Man, can you remember the last time Austin was on Raw?
On Raw?
Like in the ring, physically on Raw.
No.
I can't remember it offhand. You know,
I keep just thinking to myself, he was in the ring. No, that was Mania. No.
You know, when he's paying out big money for Austin to make an appearance, you know Vince is blowing a gasket. And I'm guessing that he's afraid that this isn't just going to go away. And the news is, under my assumption, Matt, I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. You know, things don't get broken overnight. Things aren't fixed overnight. And this is WWE's thing with the Divas Revolution, right? It's like, well, it's good now. You should accept it's good. No, you've taught us that it's bad, so we think it's bad. That's just the way it is. Educate your fan base. So yeah, wasn't going to talk too much about that because we have talked about a lot about it. But if the ratings continue to keep going down, then guys, we're going to have to keep talking about it because this is a big deal for WWE. If they continue going down, this is massive problems for everyone involved in the creative process of WWE. You know, so that's the bottom line of it there. So moving on to some of the news that we haven't talked about in the last couple of weeks. Hornswoggle has got himself into a little bit of trouble. I'm guessing, Matt, he couldn't keep off the weed.
I've seen so many things like saying how it was like a random sort of they knocked on his door sort of thing, because WWE I read somewhere that they have, if you can't produce piss in 4 hours, then they just assume that you can't, that you're unwilling to provide the test.
I think a lot of sports do that. Rio Ferdinand is a football player. He got an 8-month suspension for missing a drugs test.
Yeah.
So the natural assumption is you missed it because you're on drugs.
Because you were just stalling out of paranoia.
And it is the right way to go about it, by the way, because otherwise you will get people. I still think their drug policies you can get around it quite easily if you're in a certain position. I won't go into too much of it, what else I think, but are there people in WWE putting basically smoking or injecting things into their body that they shouldn't be? There's always going to be people with the current system that they have doing that, right? It's just the way it is. Hornswoggle obviously got done here. I'm guessing for smoking weed. I can't say for sure, but I'm guessing that's what it was. So it's not as if the guy is used that often. I think the last time you saw him being used on a regular basis was Swerved, and guess what? That's been canned. So there's literally no work for the guy whatsoever, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the last thing that he was used for was like the 3MB stuff when he was wrestling El Torito. I don't even want to think about those nowadays.
Don't remind me.
When you and me used to blow a gasket each week. And JBL's reaction to that, so. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a shame for the guy. I'm guessing that maybe, I hope it's not so much of like a depression thing where he wants to work, but WWE's in a situation where they just haven't got anything for you, got no plans. I don't know, maybe it's just him enjoying some weed, thinking he wasn't going to get tested, and as you say, Matt, that's what happened. So, he's been suspended, he'll do his time. I'm sure he'll learn his lesson, or if he gets suspended again, I don't think he'll care, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like not being used. It's like, why do I care?
Yeah. If he gets fired, and so on. Lucha Underground, Matt. Now, fresh off the announcement last week that we are going to be reviewing the episodes of Lucha Underground, or very least myself, as I said there last week.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I've got the feeling that maybe I should buy a Lucha mask and don that when I review it. El Tony.
It would be the right thing to do.
El Turbo, something like that. Just. Bring it in. I don't know. I'm not going to do an accent throughout that would
El
be
Turbito.
Yeah, but I think it would be quite offensive if I tried to do it in like a Spanish accent or Mexican accent.
I could agree with that.
You're right. You're going to have comments now going. Everyone's like, "Oh, we're not going to watch it unless you do it." I'm like, "But I can't. I need to be PC." But anyway, some of the details have come out about Lucha Underground in regards to their season 2. And the deal that they have struck. And what essentially is, I mean, you guys can go and Google it and for the fine details, there are some fine details there. But what it seems as if it is that you're going to have on this season less episodes, but they're going to have more exposure for those episodes. Apparently they are looking at what myself and Matt said, are getting those international distributors for the product. And apparently throughout the deal that they have makes it a lot easier to do so, to be able to open up the channels, talk to the right people, to get more eyeballs on Lucha Underground as a show. The worrying thing for me, Matt, is that the news coming out is that they didn't get the deal they wanted to, and have in fact not got the money that they initially aspired to get. Apparently they've had to take a lesser offer, which means obviously less money that they envisioned for the show. If there's any show, Matt, that I think that can get away with having a lesser budget, I think it is Lucha Underground. But still, for the production value of the show, which I hope that they can maintain going forward, it does suck a bit, right? That you're thinking that maybe they could even go above a level that they had done for themselves, and this makes it come up to the sort of thing that maybe that's just not possible, not financially possible anymore. You know, how do you think it's gonna work out for Lucha Underground?
It's tough. I mean, it's going to be difficult because they've. I think for a lot of them, it's going to be tough to score some of the talent. I mean, not to say that they're not going to do it for the love of it, but I mean, when you've got, El Patron, Mundo, like these aren't, basic guys.
Yeah, you got like Prince Puma, who's Ricochet. He comes at a big price,
And I think that's probably going to be where some of their problems going to come from, is just affording to. I mean, if they go for less episodes, then then that makes sense. Then that's fine. It's just tough because it's just sort of like all these people you've got to pay out for. Can you really afford to do another? How long was Lucha? 20.
It was over 35 episodes.
Yeah, but I was going to say high 20s, like these episodes. I mean, okay, it's not like everyone was there, but it's going to be an interesting workaround.
Yeah, I mean, you look at some of the bulk of the show was created through a lot of people that some of the producers had already worked with. We're talking about tough enough contestants, right? And if that's something that that they have to go around.
Margie Dalmoth.
Yeah, right. But some of those people, they'll come in at a decent enough price. I'm sure Lucha can fit the bill for, right? They're not in a position where they can demand more funds, right? But as you say there, Matt, when you're looking at the Mundos, when you're looking at especially Alberto El Patron, who is a big, in that market, he's a big draw, and he comes at a fairly decent price tag, right? And then you've got the likes of, their champion,
Muertes, yeah.
Yeah, Muertes. Like he is at a point now where maybe he wouldn't have cost as much going in. I know he was good in AAA and he's got a name for himself in AAA, but now because of the national exposure, then maybe he's got a right as the champion to say, look, I do deserve
a bit more cash.
Give it more cash. I'm now the face of everything, and if their money's gone down. There's a lot of worry around Lucha Underground. I'm not as worried as maybe I thought I would be, because I do believe that some of these people, they won't work for free, but if they say to them, look, we can't afford to pay you the full amount of the money, but for the love of what we did, the project that we created and the world that we made, maybe if you fancy doing this, maybe not working as many matches, but having on-air segments, something like, I think they can get it to work. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is worrying, but I'm sure they can get it to work. And listen, if they can get the product out to more viewers, then naturally the money will come back to them, right? So if they can get out to the international distributors and they get a good following in England and other countries, right? Then the main distributor of Lucha Underground is going to say, okay, we're onto something here. Let's throw a little bit more funding this way. Let's see what we can do. So who knows? Maybe after the first 10 episodes, everything starts to go okay, and more eyes go on it. Hopefully, the growth will come, and then for the last third of the series, while they're still doing it, the season, they can they go, okay, fair enough. You're actually doing really well. You're growing. Here's a little bit extra funding. Do what you wanted to do to end this season, and then we can work again in season 3. So hopefully, that's the way it goes. That's the main worry.
The ideal.
yeah, that's how I hope it goes. Anyway, but we'll soon see what happens there. Now, you guys must have seen some of the stuff involving NXT in Nashville. Obviously, you got the more humorous stuff of Finn Balor showing up at TNA headquarters and telling them to suck it. So there is that. And I'm sure that you got the indie wrestler Grado, who was apparently going around doing some stuff with Balor as well. Don't really care for the guy, but I know a lot of people do, especially in Scotland. So they had all that. That was all fun. Matt showed me that picture. I laughed to death, shall we say. I was like, what are you talking about? Balor in NXT? What are you talking about? So I literally Googled it, and straight there it was. I don't know about you, Matt, but doesn't it seem like that Balor's getting a little bit of a bit of swagger about him recently? Right?
He's getting a bit cocky.
Getting a bit cocky, which I don't mind, right? He needs something, really. If he can get that over in his promos and stuff, then that's the only weak link in his armor, shall we say. But the news coming out of NXT in Nashville, unfortunately, is not all good. And I wanted to bring this up because it seems that Eva Marie has apparently listened to fans. We're listening, everyone's saying that you don't work stiff enough. You don't hit hard enough. It looks like you're not really wrestling. You're too soft, afraid to take a hit. Maybe she listened and decided, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll actually kick someone in the head and injure them.
That's it. Maybe I'll overcompensate.
Yeah, right. And unfortunately, her victim was Carmella, who she's been wrestling with on and off recently, right? Now, apparently, what happened here, there was just a simple spot, on the apron, hanging off the apron. I think that's what it was. And then a kick was done by Eva Marie onto Carmella's head. You guys know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Now, when we've said before about Eva Marie, about her, one, she looks like she's got 10 pounds of iron in each of her shoes, and she looks so heavy on her feet, which, looking back at it now, is a little bit ironic considering what happened here involving her kicking someone, right? Is that we said that, yeah, she doesn't wrestle hard enough. She doesn't go in hard enough. She looks like she's acting wrestling, not actually wrestling. And there's a lot of issues. Me and Matt have blasted her for her ring psychology, saying, you know all the moves, but you don't know why you use the moves at those moments to elicit a response from the crowd. That is the art of wrestling, right? That's and I can't explain it any further way, what wrestling is as an art form, than that, right? And she obviously doesn't get it. We can all tell that, right? And that's why she's in NXT, to learn. I don't have an issue with her learning everything. But we said that WWE have afforded her a lot of mistakes and looked the other way, which a lot of talent would not have got away with, right? We're talking about forgetting to kick out of pins, just generally being bad, right? She's just bad, yeah? And just a lot of mistakes like this. This is another one, right, where maybe she's gone, okay, no, maybe I need to go hard. I've got no problem with people working stiff. In fact, a wrestler that's is now just been signed by NXT by the name of Asuka, right, which we'll be talking a little bit.
Who's known for stiff.
He's known for stiff. But, Matt, she's known for being stiff. But she's not known for injuring people.
Yeah.
Right? Now, injuries happen, I'm not going to say, you blast Eva Marie for making an injury, right? Sometimes, unless you're Bret Hart, who didn't, miraculously never injured anyone in his fucking entire illustrious career, which is just a testament to the excellence of execution that he is. If you're a wrestler, 95%, you're going to injure someone at some point in your career. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
The problem is that, when it just stacks up all the issues that go around with Eva Marie at the moment, that, now you can add to unsafe being on the list of negatives on her sheet, And there's a lot of negatives pounding up. Matt, my question to you, Matt, is that I'm not going to say she's going to go out and hurt more people. This may have been an accident. It certainly doesn't seem like it would be a situation where an accident would happen, right? I mean, it's a kick to the head, right? Yeah. How many more of these mistakes and I don't know what to call them, mistakes,
fuck-ups,
whatever you want to call them. How many of them?
I would call them a mistake.
Yeah. How many of these mistakes are WWE going to overlook before they say, okay, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep backing you if you keep making mistakes like this, where do they draw the line here? Because it's getting very deep.
It's difficult. So the worst part is the fact that it's all like everyone's a contracted talent. So it's just like, why have you done that? They're all just like looking at it. It's like, I want rid of her.
Yeah, it must be like a warning.
I think I hate it. It's like someone like Corey Grace, who genuinely is talent, but unfortunately through medical reasons can't carry on. And he's like essentially being paid to bullshit and just say, wow, isn't Eva Marie a talent?
Yeah, right. It's like even Dana Brooke she's improved. In fact, she's actually become a serviceable heel, right? You know, someone that
I'll admit that.
Yeah, like, you know, even like her mic work, you know, she comes off like a bitch, right? Fair enough, right? Eva Marie doesn't really come off like a bitch. She comes off like some superficial woman trying to be a bitch.
Yeah.
I would much rather her just be a bitch, right? And there's a lot of issues with Eva Marie. Like, we've gone through them all before. Got people, if you listen to our show, you know what we think. But come on, this is just another mistake. You know, this is like, I tell you what, if she hurts one more person really badly, and apparently Carmella was on the brink of tears. Like, apparently she was crying leaving the ring. Apparently that it was that bad. The match had to be stopped. You know, they rushed the ending of the match and they basically shepherd Carmella out. If she goes in there, if she has a match with Asuka and injures Asuka, fuck me. Like, that's at the point where they've got to be like, we can't keep letting you injure our people, right? I'm not saying she is, but hopefully for her sake and for people that she wrestles with, this was a freak accident that won't happen again.
I mean, the worst part, here we go with me just sort of like, I watch more Total Divas than you do, Tony.
The authority on Total Divas, I call you.
But
yeah,
recently there was like one that's like, oh yeah, you want to defend the Divas title at WrestleMania? You want to like, we could get you on for SummerSlam, and it's like, well, that clearly didn't happen. But I'm just like, they had that much stock in her.
Yeah.
The fuck.
Are they that fucking blind? You know, that this woman clearly doesn't know what to do. And people were trying to convince us, Matt. How many people were saying, well, have you seen her wrestle? Have you seen her do those moves, all those clips in Brian Kendricks? And I said to them, I kept saying, look, congratulations. She knows how to do a suplex. Does she know why she needs to do a suplex? Does she do the suplex very well? No. Like, she doesn't do a lot of these moves expertly. She does it at passable, and that's at best.
Yeah.
And now she's starting to, you know, these issues are starting to crop up as well. If I were WWE, I would have cut my losses months ago. You know, once you've given this woman chance after chance and she keeps getting it wrong. You know, some people
I find
just
it funny that they've given her, like, chucked so much stock into her, and yet, like, JoJo went off to become an announcer, and that was that.
Yeah, and I tell you what, JoJo as an announcer is okay. She does her job fine. You know? Why, like, I'm not going to go into this too much, because otherwise we'll get in a rant about Eva Marie, and everyone knows our thoughts, but, yeah, this is interesting for me, because I just want to know where WWE draw the line, where they finally go, we can't keep doing this, like, we can't keep covering up your shit, like, eventually this will have to come on your shoulders, not ours, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see when that day comes. And how much...
It'd be like the day that WWE like throws them the medical bill or something.
I think the line, hopefully the line will be drawn. If within a month's time she does exactly the same thing and injures someone else, then they'll have to say, look, we'd have to take you out of the ring at very least, because you can't keep hurting people. And people, you know, I'm guessing that these rising potential stars in the women's division fear going against Eva Marie, and it's not like in storyline people fear going against Asuka because they'll get their head kicked in. It's like, we fear that you're going to fuck up a move and break our leg, right? That's what they're worrying about, that you're going to put me off the shelf for like 6 months, and that's my push gone, while you're still getting WWE to cover up your mistakes. You know, if I were talent, I would be pissed. I really would, but we'll see how it goes. Matt, is there any other news that you caught this week that I didn't?
No.
It was funny. I felt myself going all red, everything, all over my face as I talk about this stuff. So
that could be misconstrued, and it's a terrible bit of phrasing there, dude.
Matt, don't go down that shameless pay-per-view plot. We're better than that on this show.
Okay.
I take your snigger as appropriate response, and we shall move on. So
Okay.
fan feedback. Crimson Omega says that his research depicts the hell under the WWE ring is actually TNA, and that's why Seth Rollins was so scared of being dragged down under it. Well, I disagree, because TNA will never be that close to the millions of viewers that WWE have, but still, good joke anyway. His question is, how would we book the Shield in terms of wrestlers that have already existed? For instance, he said he would, if you're going to make a face or a heel for Rollins, he would make him, an Edge-like heel and an HBK style face. So, what characters would we mirror their booking to be? What would have them to be? I actually went with Triple H as a heel for Rollins, and it's not so much like I'm making the
the current association.
Yeah, right. It's not so much because of that. Is that there is a lot in Triple H as a heel, and Rollins is as he is at the moment. So yeah, I think that's fine, and not I think Triple H as a heel back in the days just after the merger, WCW and WWE, the wars, the alliance, all that stuff, right? Triple H was pretty damn awesome in his time just after that. So, I'm talking about, for instance, not so much as a heel, but I thought Triple H was at his biggest moment as a face after he came back from that quad tear, where he ripped the quad.
Oh yeah.
And the response he got back after coming back was just thunderous. It was mad, And obviously he went on to win the title, and things kind of went back to normal for him after that. But and as a face, yeah, Michaels, we've said that Rollins is the closest thing to Shawn Michaels than anyone we have on the roster, and I'm sure that makes Dolph Ziggler a little bit sad, but it is true. All right. What do you think for Rollins? Do you agree with those, or was there any other ways?
I can't fault those choices.
I
can't think of anything else.
Yeah, that's how I'd go for it. Some people may say, "Oh, book him like a face like Jeff Hardy." No. It just doesn't. It's just not. Don't let the blonde streak in his hair fool you. He's not, in terms of character, anywhere close to what a Jeff Hardy was. And it's not saying in terms of he's not as good as Hardy. They're just two different characters, right? And no, just wouldn't go down that way. So Crimson says Jake the Snake as a heel and Piper for face for Ambrose. I couldn't agree more. There's no other two. Yeah. Reigns, I actually go with Diesel in his fist bump days. Remember, Diesel was like that first sort of way that heels could be faces. WWE were playing around with that, and Diesel was one of them. He was like, if you've got a glove like mine, I'll fist bump you and I'll call you my brother, but if not, then I'm going through you, and it was very much like, if you're my fan, I love you. If you're not, fuck you, sort of thing. That is exactly how Roman Reigns should do his business. He should come down. He does it already, right? Fist bumps everyone coming down. Anyone that refuses to, they're dead to him. Don't exist. And if they get in his way, then they will be dead. That's the ass kicker, right? Reigns, that's what we want. Matt, as a heel, I was thinking more along the lines of obviously not as hokey and not directly affecting into the ways of the sort of stereotypical nature of what it was back then. But as a heel for Reigns, I'd go Farouk in Nation of Domination, and he's essentially this guy who's leading this ragtag band of people that's been overlooked, who band together, and he's like, he doesn't wrestle that often, and he's the head of that group. And that when it's time to fight, Roman Reigns comes out. Doesn't even talk.
Shit's just got real because the leader has come out.
Yeah, right. You can even put someone in that group that does the majority of the talking for the group, because Roman Reigns, his strength isn't talking. He shouldn't be talking that much. He sits back there, they all revere him almost godlike, and once he decides he wants to fight, then you make it this big thing, right? It's like, shit, Roman Reigns is about to get into the ring. He's about to fight, you know? You make it a big deal. You barely ever make him wrestle, right?
See, I was comparing more to, I was sort of thinking, I completely agree with your Diesel choice. I was thinking like Double A Arn Anderson.
What, as a heel?
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting that. Actually, the more I think about it, the whole nation domination thing, it's just the group. It's not really how I wouldn't book.
It wasn't so much Farouk, it was just the way the whole thing was done.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's in a similar sort of strain to when you were just like, oh shit, here he comes. That's pretty much, Arn Anderson.
Yeah, you knew that you were in trouble when Arn Anderson decided he was going to roll up his sleeves and start battering some heads. And delivering a couple of fucking fine ass spine busters.
Yeah.
Spine-ass fine busters. That's what they should call it now. Yeah. That sounds like a really bad sex move. The spine-ass fine buster. I don't even know what that would consist of. Are we going down a shameless?
I believe you are.
Yeah, I think we are. Quite a lot already in this show. Well, quite a lot.
I think we're on a record for the time that for the timestamp we're actually at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm sure someone out there is counting it. So who knows? So yeah, there's our answers to that, Crimson, in regards to that. We're getting a lot of questions in regards to how we would book the Shield guys, and I think the reason behind that is because those 3 Shield guys held, they're interesting, right? Rollins in the position he's in, Roman, whether you like him or you hate him, he's still, the whole, how are WWE going to use this guy now, and Ambrose, everyone loves Ambrose, the titty master himself, right? So, yeah, fair enough. And they're new as well, there's that. Cappuccino says WWE deserve the low ratings. There's no compelling storytelling like there used to be. People can miss a couple of Raws and they don't miss anything. My response to that, Cappuccino, is you're exactly right. And that's part of the issue that we said as well. That I know, Matt, I don't know about you, you've got a few friends of yours that I don't speak to regularly but watch wrestling. So you probably know the same thing as I do. And we also have some friends that we know that do this as well. I know more people than I should that don't watch Raw anymore. And if they watch wrestling, they only catch the pay-per-views.
Yeah.
3 hours, Matt, I said this. I'm pretty sure I said this on the very first episode of this show. I said 3 hours will kill this show. And I stick by that. I still think 3 hours is a massive, one of the cornerstones of the issues that they have on Raw at the moment. 3 hours is too long for anything in this world. So, yeah, 3 hours. I'm sure if the shows were 2 hours, then if it was painful, it's less painful. If it's boring, it's not as boring, right? It doesn't last as long.
That's it. I mean, it was sort of to have mates who were just like, do you watch it? No. It's literally as to the extent of, I'll fast forward Raw if I can be bothered. Yeah.
If I were WWE, and this is radical, by the way, by no means, don't take my my statements, exactly as it is, right? But a part of me thinks sometimes that WWE should think, if the ratings start dropping down and they decide, listen, the main issue is the 3 hours. Under USA, they have 3 hours. There's no other way. The USA will say, we've got you under contract for 3 hours. It's 3 hours. We want 3 hours, right? Because there's nothing else USA can put in that time slot that gets the viewers that WWE does. So it's beneficial. The only people that win with a 3 hour Raw is USA, right?
Yeah.
So if I were WWE, I would look around and start thinking, is there any other stations that would take us on? And with the notion of you only have to produce 2 hours of Raw on a Monday night. I wonder whether or not Vince looks at maybe that situation and thinks a little bit more towards doing that now. I don't know whether that's something worth talking about, I guess, thinking about down the line, whether they would take that plunge, maybe even take less money, right, just to maintain and improve the quality of their product and get it hot again, make it interesting. I don't know, maybe there's something to that.
It's difficult. I mean, yeah, I'm in complete agreement where the sort of 2 hour, where to go back to a 2 hour show would be ideal. I mean, you get such a feel for just like, this is nothing but filler.
Yeah, the third hour overexposes far too much.
Yeah.
I mean, that third hour means an extra Seth Rollins promo, an extra Authority backstage segment, and it's like all that stuff you could cut out of the show just makes it tighter, makes it and more must see, right? Because you're not seeing all these people all the time, but that's just the bottom line over there. Mr. Knight Rider of Doom says a lot of people would probably disagree with his statement, but he feels that WWE needs a kick-up like the Attitude Era to boost their ratings. Now, just as a precursor, I do disagree. Now, don't get it too bad here. When I mean I disagree that the Attitude Era is... I know the statement here was needs a kick-up like the Attitude Era, so you're not saying the Attitude Era, but that's the one thing that I disagree. WWE doesn't need to go back to the Attitude Era. I don't know about you, Matt, but I get the feeling that WWE can make drastic changes to this show and improve the quality of the show and still keep it PG.
I've been going back to listening to like old podcasts, like whether of our own or of others, but it was just sort of like people seem to forget that, like, people remember the Attitude Era so fondly, but because there were some really good bits of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, and
but then there were also some bits that fucking sucked.
Right. There were some weeks of television on WCW and WWE that were bad, right? Because they were experimenting at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is I find with like people going on about the Attitude Era is tough because wrestling nowadays isn't as popular as it used to be.
Yeah, and part of that is no competition, right? The reason why
it's not the fact that it's WWE of what WWE or any other company has done. It's just hit a point now where it's just, pardon me, just not as a mainstream media as it used to be.
Death of Kayfabe as well. I think that's got
something
to do with
Death of Kayfabe probably played a huge role.
And the push towards a more entertainment style, right? And, there's a lot of reasons for that, but yeah, I do think that WWE can have that big boost and they can make a drastic change in their show and still keep it PG. I think the main thing that they need to change is an overhaul of their philosophy and the way that they book. I think, and not only that as well, it's also the way that WWE have got too comfortable. They use the same angles, right? They use the same promos in the same backstage areas, with the same characters, and they do it over and over and over again, often on the same week, right?
Are you sort of comparing, like, I remember when the APA used to have a fight in a bar?
Yeah, I'm not saying that they need to be doing that.
Austin, Booker T in a supermarket.
Yeah, right. Like, there isn't enough. WWE have gone. They've gone by not having as many lengthy backstage promos from people. I'm thinking about The Rock used to get 5 minutes on a mic every week, and it used to be different stuff he'd come out with because he was very entertaining. And then, like you said, Matt, you got like Steve Austin bashing McMahon over the head with a fucking pan in the hospital.
Yeah,
WWE doesn't tend to do that as much anymore. And as much as they say that it's the reality era now, there isn't any stars at the moment that I feel that I could imprint myself onto, right? There's no one that I could feel that they're actually people, right? They're all reading off a script, and it feels too much like that.
Yeah.
So for this,
a lot of it comes down. I think I mentioned this. Like, we spoke about this during the week, actually, where it's just sort of like, I don't remember it. Like, they complained, like, oh, it's the reality era. It's like, yeah, but as stupid as it was, I bought into this whole McMahon Austin thing because I could put myself into those shoes. And it's similar to, it's what I was saying when we were talking about this during the week, where it's just sort of like, they don't have any stories that have just built up to be this great crescendo. Like, to think back 2008 of Jericho and Michaels.
Yeah.
Something that was only meant to have lasted 1 month, and it lasted for, pushing on 8?
Yeah.
And that was huge. But they won't build. They'll just like, right, it has to have like the same, like a 3-month cycle sort of thing.
Yeah, normally.
Because we have to build up to the pay-per-view, then we have So somebody gets a win, then we know the next pay-per-view, and then someone else gets the win, and then we have the rubber match, and then it's done, and that's 3 months.
Yeah.
But it's the most boring 3 months as well.
And often what they'll do is that storyline for some reason goes on that long, and it's not actually a story. There's no story in it, you know.
Yeah,
I think that's one of
I
the
got beef.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the core philosophies that I think they have to change. They have to change the way they think they want to book, you know. But yeah, I do think they need a kick up. I don't think they need to go back to the Attitude Era. I don't think that they need to shock people anymore. In fact, I think TV has evolved. Yeah, you might say some of the most shocking shows like The Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, they have the most viewers. But if all their show was, you know, tits and ass and all this, I say that Game of Thrones kind of is. But the thing about Game of Thrones is it has a compelling plot and compelling characters, right? Same thing with The Walking Dead. That's what WWE needs to do, is to give us compelling storylines with compelling characters. At the moment, for this reality era that we have, no one seems like a human being, right? I think that's, you know, what was the time that they've had some people come out, some of the promos I love, like when they had Ryback come out one week, and he talked very personally, not like he's done recently, but very personally about his injuries, about his, you know, how he was like a bell ringer in a WWE event when he was young.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it felt very real, so I loved it. I wanted to hear more. They had Damien Sandow come out and say, listen, I know things have not gone well for me, and you know, things haven't turned out the way I am, and he came out just plain guy, right? Very honest, very genuine, just speaking to the crowd.
Threw his heart out on the floor.
Yeah.
And then where's he been recently?
Yeah, right. And this is not the reality era, because there is no. It's the forced reality era. You can call it that. It isn't. There's nothing reality in what's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's one of the large problems with WWE at the moment. And this also sort of thing where they have this sort of you win, I win, here's a pay-per-view match, and then we have the same match the night after. In fact, that actually goes into our next question, so we can move into that. Is there anything else you want to talk about that before I do move on?
No, I've got nothing to add.
This goes on to it anyway, what I was about to say. Yeah. So Zeokich asks, what's our opinion on pay-per-view matches happening the week after on Raw? Does it render either one useless? Yes. Not all the time. Sometimes there is a reason.
You mean the rematches? Yeah.
Yeah, literally on like the Raw straight afterwards.
Yeah, pardon me.
When I say not all the time, there is a few exceptions, but I mean the 5% to the 95%. That's the exception.
A lot of them are pointless. Yeah.
Whereas WWE have I mean, you know it here. That's the reason why you've asked the question. They have a tendency of giving you a pay-per-view match and saying, oh, on one night after on Raw, we're going to have the rematch of this. And it's a little bit like, these are pay-per-view matches. You're supposed to treat them special. You know,
the one thing I hate is, especially recently, I can't remember what match it was. I believe it was Cena Rollins again when they had their rematch. And you had fucking, what's his fucking face?
Who?
Byron Saxton just going, hey, how lucky are we guys, because we get this match again. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah, and that exactly, and it makes the match at the pay-per-view less monumental.
Relevant.
Yeah, less relevant. Yeah, that's the right word, because a lot of the matches that they'll give, unfortunately, are matches that we've already seen. Matches that they do over and over and over again. They take a rivalry and they beat it into the ground until there's nothing else that they think they can do. By then, it's been boring for a month and a half. And then, you know, 6 months down the line, they might do the same thing. They might have the same matches, you know, and they'll just keep doing it over and over and beating it into the ground. So it feels like everyone's wrestled everyone, and you don't want anyone to then get into a rivalry with anyone else, because it feels... Yeah. Why is the reason Brock Lesnar is so much of an attraction is because when he rivals with someone new, it's someone new, right? He hasn't wrestled them before, right? The whole thing with Rollins, when he had his singles match, I know he had the triple threat, but it was a match one-on-one with him. You'd never seen these two guys go one-on-one with each other. It was interesting, you know. Yeah. And it's not as if the night afterwards you had Rollins and Brock Lesnar again. It just didn't happen. So, yeah, it's...
Well, that might be because WWE couldn't afford to have Brock Lesnar in again.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly, to wrestle two matches. I tell you another company that did this a lot, WCW. Did this all of the time. They would not so much do pay-per-view matches then give you the match afterwards. They would just do their pay-per-view matches on Nitro and then put all the second filler on the pay-per-view. And their pay-per-view business was garbage, right? And Nitro was the one where they'd put all their big matches. Goldberg winning his championship for the first time didn't happen on a pay-per-view, even though that pay-per-view was that weekend. He did it on Nitro, right? Yeah. And it's not so much why. Basically, the crux of this is that WWE is educating their fans that the matches on the pay-per-view are not one of a kind. That is damaging, because that's technically not good booking, right? Because the fans shouldn't feel as if the matches at the pay-per-views aren't just flavor of the month. They should feel that these are special occasions, marquee matches. And yeah, you're exactly right here that it does render both matches. It doesn't. I believe it doesn't do anything for anyone when you have these rematches so close, to each other. And that's that. I'm not asking for 3-match programs. But what I'm saying is that at very least, if you're going to build up to a big... I mean, that match between Rollins and Cena, that's a big match, right? And they just okay, we'll just do it the night after, get it wrapped up. Why don't you just have it like Rollins is so pissed that he doesn't even cash in his rematch, because he's so annoyed he hasn't got time to cash in his rematch because he has to defend his title, right? His world championship. Yeah. So there's ways to get around it. We have another question from Ziokic, and he says that, have they increased the volume of microphones around the ring? It's easier to hear them talking more than usual recently. My answer to this, Matt, I don't know whether you know too much about this, but a couple of years ago now, around about 5 years, when WWE put in that big HD set, I think just before then, they obviously, they updated their systems and everything like that to adhere to it. And obviously that means that they've got like the HD cameras, basically updated all their equipment, just natural. And just in general, those cameras are going to be better at picking up sound. It's just technology advancing. But recently it's not down to, anything that the production have done. It's just a few people. It's a mixture of two things. Sometimes when, for instance, Paige is one that does this a lot. She'll get up into a turnbuckle and she'll naturally assume that it isn't someone with a camera standing right next to them getting the close shot. Yeah. So she'll start yapping and you can hear everything she says. There's been a few times she's been caught out doing that. Or what Cena will do. These are the two main offenders, really, Cena and Paige. What Cena will do is that he'll get into like a chin lock, or he'll be on the ground or something like that, and obviously then the camera pans in trying to get the close shot of Cena with his fucking hulking hand around this. It's a good shot, right? It's a good camera angle. But then you've got Cena there very, very audibly and very easily. You don't even have to hear it. You can just lip read it. Him speaking about the next spot. It's quite easy to do. And I know I can't exactly. Well, I can't blame them, but if you look at it through the reason of, you're in a ring with thousands of fans shouting and cheering, sometimes you don't know how loud you have to shout to get your message over and across, But it's not an excuse, because people like Cena have obviously lived their entire lives, they're in careers doing this,
Yeah.
They just need to not speak as loudly and maybe be a little bit more aware when you've got certain spots that the camera's trying to get close-ins, not to speak as loudly as sometimes they do, Sometimes you don't even have to. We've caught Cena out sometimes, Matt, on some weeks. The camera isn't even going in for a close-in. It's just the general camera angle, and he speaks. Yeah, literally, like people in the front row could hear what he's saying. Sometimes he gets that loud, And Paige is about. Is there anyone else that you think talks too loud? Big Show sometimes.
Big Show sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of anyone else.
I wouldn't say Paige is that bad. It's just there's been a few glaring moments where, like, we had that triple threat match of her, Nikki, and AJ, wasn't it?
Yeah, and literally you could hear exactly.
Yeah, and they were just like, "We ready?
Yeah.
Ready!" It's like, oh dear.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's just the bottom line of it there. As far as the volume on the microphones, I've certainly not heard anything to that. I haven't heard any news myself. Maybe, but my natural assumption is just that you got all these camera angles that are trying to get the good angles, going in very close. Some of the talent doesn't realise it. They're speaking, and some of them are louder than others. And you get regular offenders, and there are some of the regular offenders. So. That's what I might be. I don't think it matters nearly as much. Like, well, yeah, it still is a bad thing. If people could hear people calling spots back like 10 or 20 years ago, then you probably would have been close to losing your job over that, because that's killing kayfabe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nowadays, it's not nearly as bad. I mean, come on. If Vince isn't giving Cena a rap on the knuckles when he does it, which obviously he's not, then that just shows you how much Vince cares about it at the moment, you know. And Cena has done. Fucking Botchamania does a segment of Cena talks too much, and it's just him talking too much in his matches. Yeah. That shows you how much he's the biggest offender. Is John Cena? The biggest attraction on WWE is the biggest offender in talking too much in the ring. Yeah. So there's or talking too loud. You know, it's not how much you talk; it's how loud you talk. That's it. So. If you guys do want to send us any questions, then you can do so at the comment section below. Or Matt, do you want to send that sexy Twitter handle to us once again?
Or the @TalkWrestlePod. Yeah,
handle. Send it to Matt. Be a betrayer if you wish. You know, join Matt and his growing army of Twitterers, whatever you like to call yourselves. Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any names for or the Mossanderites? Do you want to call them that? You know,
we'll go for the Mossanderites. That sounds quite cool.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I think I've given you too much of a good tag there.
That's it.
Okay. Moving on. NXT Respect predictions. No NXT report card this week because we're going to be talking in general about NXT anyway. Let's move on swiftly with these 6 matches on the card. I imagine there will be a few recorded before the show for maybe NXT the week after, like they did at Brooklyn, right?
Yep.
I don't know actually because it's been done in Full Sail, so probably not.
Yeah,
actually,
not. Yeah. Now that you mention it.
Yeah. I do expect.
It seems pretty. Do you know the one thing about it is actually it seems pretty soon. Because I'm pretty sure they were saying like how NXT shows would be quarterly.
They're having a lot recently, aren't they? You know?
And like SummerSlam wasn't that long ago.
You got Brooklyn, which was about 2 months ago, and then 2 months down the line, it's London, and that's what we're going to. So yeah, they're having 3 in the space of 4 months. You know,
in about that,
In about that. So that's that is quite a lot. I'm guessing it's just a lot of their plans changed due to the fact that NXT is now a touring brand, and I think that's part of the issue there. So. So there's only 6 matches on the show. We did say earlier on that
one of them's a half-hour Iron Man match.
Yeah,
like, I think we can waive that.
Yeah, but they added another 30 minutes onto the show. I think that maybe they might add one match onto this show that isn't advertised. But I think it would just be a filler match. It'll probably be like 5 minutes tops. I think the rest of them will probably get about 15-20 minutes at least. And that includes all the tag team matches. There's going to be 3 of them on the show.
Yeah.
And the first of which is the semi-finals for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I say tag team like Teddy Long, unfortunately.
Bit Teddy.
That's it. Finn Balor and Samoa Joe versus Dawson and Dash. Wiki has them up as the Mechanics, but they haven't been called that for a long time, so I'm calling them Dawson and Dash, as they like to call themselves.
Yeah.
Don't know about you, Matt, but I see Balor and Joe getting this victory. I mean, it's Balor and Joe, right?
I will agree, but this is one thing that I'm not enjoying at the moment.
Okay.
I don't think they should be going over these things.
You think that the established team should be beating them?
Yeah. I mean, okay, yeah. I mean, you're in a tough situation. You know, you've got your NXT champion, and you've got fucking Samoa Joe. But I mean, if you've got teams who have been long-standing teams like Dawson and they should be more ripe to take the whole thing. Because I saw that they've recently gone over on
champions.
Former champions and that,
Yeah, they went through them, Yeah, by the way, they call themselves Dawson and Dash. I think that Dawson and Wild Day is way better. I don't know why they call themselves Dawson and Dash. I just think that's crazy, but still. I'm with you with that. I don't think it's going to happen here. I do think that that Dawson and Dash will get some moments in this match. I don't think it won't be a squash by any means, but let's look at them as a team. They are the least established of the established teams on NXT.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So I'm with you, Matt. I think that, I do think that Balor and Joe.
Maybe it's going to be the team that wins goes over on Balor and Joe.
Yeah, I that's what I believe. Obviously, we'll get into that in a sec, but I do think that Dawson and Dash, they will have a rivalry, I think, after this thing, but I don't think it's going to be in regards.
Hopefully in tag. I don't want them to break up. I actually quite like Dawson and.
Oh, they're not even ready to be broke. They're not even ready to even. They haven't even had a chance as a team. You know, they need to at least have some spotlight put on them. You know, because as two singles, they ain't going to work. There's just no space. So. Yeah, so I do think Balor and Joe will get the win and move on to the finals. Then in the other semi-final, you've got Gable and Jordan, who's gone around calling himself JJ now. I don't like that. I think he should just call himself Jordan, Jason Jordan. Rhino and Corbin will be going up against them. My heart says Gable and Jordan. Everyone knows how I feel about them. My head says Rhino and Corbin to be the heel team that goes against Balor and Joe. Which obviously annoys you even further, Matt, because then that's another team of two individuals beating a tag team.
Yeah. And it's Gable and Jordan.
I love Gable and Jordan, but I do see them losing. What do you see?
I don't see it. No.
Sorry, is that a grumble for Rhino and Corbin? Is it?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think Rhino and Corbin. I do think though that considering on NXT this week, Gable and Jordan did go toe to toe backstage with Dawson and Dash. I hate saying that. They need a new tag team name. They really do. So I think that maybe Gable and Jordan will be getting ready to go face, and they'll be rivaling with Dash and Dawson after this. Obviously, they're the two losing teams in the semi-finals, so. Maybe there might even be an interference. Who knows? Don't know.
Battling it out for third place.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, Rhino and Corbin will go on to the finals. So let's talk about the finals. If it does end up being Balor and Joe against Rhino and Corbin, my pick is Rhino and Corbin to win the tournament. And I think this will be down to a breakdown in communication between Joe and Balor. And this will lead to the main event of NXT TakeOver London being Balor defending his title against Samoa Joe. I think it kind of writes itself at this point.
Yeah. The thing I quite like is the fact that we're almost... this is almost like us dream booking what we want to see come London.
But my dream thing is that I know they're not going to have it, and it's kind of counterproductive even if they do. But man, I would like to see this, and the one I'm saying is a bit counterproductive is Sasha Bayley 3, because I just want to see Sasha in London. But
yeah,
I think it's much more likely we're going to see someone that's not even on the roster yet possibly going against her. But I'll talk about that when we get to
the return of Sami Zayn.
What is he going to go for for Bayley's championship?
No.
I was like, what?
This is more like just dream booking for London.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'd love to see the return of Sami Zayn, but I don't know. The time frames, they could match up there, could do. But talking of that, actually, yeah, we'll talk about that in the main event. Who I think is going to be Bayley's next opponent.
Yeah.
So Apollo Crews versus Tyler Breeze. I could spend a good 10 minutes on each show. I said this to Matt, just telling everyone how much I like Apollo Crews. I just think that this guy's got fucking so much potential. It's crazy. Saw him again this week. Just what a talent this man is. Just if you've got a guy who can gorilla press slam someone and then do a fucking standing moonsault, the power and speed and just explosive nature, the look of this guy. Oh, Matt, don't stop me now. I'll just keep talking about how I think this guy... If I was booking and Apollo Crews was my guy, he would be the face of my company. Now, that's a pretty big statement, but there you go. That's it. Matt, who do you think's winning this match between Crews and Breeze?
I'm going to go with Crews.
Yeah, I'm going with Crews as well.
But it's for two reasons.
Go on.
To carry on the push of Crews...
Mm-hmm.
And Breeze has a terrible history at takeover events.
Yes, he's got an awful record in the big stage, shall we say. You can only hope for Breeze that it will eventually come good for him. Maybe they've got a storyline involving him losing.
The thing is, though, matches. I don't care, seeing him lose. This is the one thing I find quite bizarre, is I don't mind seeing him lose.
You think it doesn't damage him as much as some
I don't
people
think it does, because he's good enough.
Okay.
Like, I enjoy watching Tyler Breeze wrestle.
And his
really,
character and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think NXT is good enough, and the way that they book it is good enough, that eventually him losing all these matches will mean something. And when he has a big match, let's say maybe for a championship down the line, they'll keep bringing up his win-loss ratio at TakeOver and explain how fucking dismal it is.
Sami Zayn 2.0.
Well, maybe not so much even that. Maybe it's more like Bayley, right? Because Bayley lost tons of matches, tons of title opportunities.
So Bayley is Sami Zayn 2.0, so that would be Sami Zayn 3.0?
Sami Zayn 3.0. Hey, if it works, it works, right? That's
the underdog story will always work.
Yeah. Doesn't even require... I mean, yeah, he would be getting face. You know, the crowd would be chanting for him. But he doesn't even have to change what he's doing.
Chants for him anyway.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't change much.
Yeah. Or it doesn't even have to be for the title. Maybe it might be, maybe he comes up with something like, Sami Zayn came up. He kind of did both. It was like, if I don't win the championship, I'll retire. Maybe he goes, if I don't win my next TakeOver match, and he picks like the biggest, baddest guy out there, then he goes, then I will retire. There's no point in me being here. And it builds up to this very big thing. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, there's something for Breeze here, because otherwise, if you just keep losing all these matches and he's just a workhorse of NXT, that worries me for the guy. But yeah, I'll go with Cruz to win. There's no reason why he should lose. And it pains me to say this because I love both guys, but if I was going to pick one guy to be like the next huge selling star, then it would be Cruz that I would pick.
Yeah.
Even though I do love Breeze. Yeah. Asuka versus Dana Brooke.
Asuka.
Oh yes. I expect Asuka will kick the wrestling into Dana Brooke. And kick her so much that Dana will... she'll come out like a 5-star athlete from it. It will be amazing. The metamorphosis. Or maybe she'll kick her so badly Dana will turn into a man. I don't know. Maybe.
The rest of her natural transition.
Yeah, right. Yeah, as you said, Emma, Asuka will win. I think that she will win well. I think this match is an education on who she is and what she can do. So I do expect her to get a lot of offense. She will take a beating. They're not going to just let Dana Brooke run over and just roll over and just take it, right? She will get some offense on. But I do expect this to be an education to show everyone just what this woman is about. And it will be her statement that bitches don't come and ruin my debuts anymore because I'll kick you really fucking hard. Yeah. I still love that segment, by the way, when she actually walks out after they ask her to. She just looks back with that smile. Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant. Bayley versus Sasha Banks. The main event, it will be a 30-minute Iron Woman match. Matt, before I give my... it's fairly easy to predict who's going to win this match, but the one thing I will say is that these women, will have to do something truly spectacular to beat what they've already done, which is what a lot of people are calling the NXT Women's, magnum opus, their masterpiece, which was their match at Brooklyn. If they can pull it off, then there is no other... I honestly believe that they won't top whatever they can do. If they manage to top what they do at Brooklyn was near perfection. To beat it, you have to be perfection.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they will, just because the result of the match is... even the result of the match at Brooklyn was a little bit predictable. Even here, I think it's even more predictable. Which is, Bayley will win the match, and I imagine she'll get the final pinfall in the last couple of, let's say, 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That. Hell, they might go around the storyline that it's a draw, and they have to go sudden death. Maybe they do that, but I still think Bayley wins going into that. So,
ooh, I'd quite like the idea of going sudden death on it.
Yeah, maybe they do a thing where Sasha's close to winning it. She's literally seconds away, and Bayley gets the tying pinfall, seconds on the clock, and then in overtime she manages to actually win the match in sudden death. So maybe they go along those lines. So, who's your prediction then, Matt?
Well, it's Bayley.
Yeah, it's too easy. They're not going to take the belt off Bayley. Sasha Banks is main roster. She's wrapping up what she's doing on the brand now, and Bayley will go on and do other things. Matt, I think that the person that she rivals with, and after she celebrates her title win in monumental fashion, she's exhausted. Nia Jax will come down and beat the shit out of her.
Oh, yes.
And I think Nia Jax will be placed immediately. I don't think there's any other woman at the moment ready for that. I think Asuka, yeah, she's ready for it, but she'll be better off educating.
But she's not. She'd be ready for it, but she's not. What's the word I'm trying to think of? She's not known enough yet.
Yeah, Nia Jax isn't either, but it's along the lines that I think that Asuka can go along the lines of she can face other people, build up a reputation. Nia Jax, I think she's going to come in, she's going to be very big, very strong, a different sort of woman that Bayley hasn't fought before, right? The way it's going to be that she can't...
Well, this is the thing is, like, it goes for sort of similar to what the NXT crowd is. The NXT crowd is very knowledgeable. You know who Nia Jax is, don't you?
Yeah.
So, I don't think it really matters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is that. And I just think that, I think Nia Jax coming in, I think she's going to surprise a lot more people than people expect. I think that she's of good quality already. Of what I've heard, and you know, there's not much you can see, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think that come on, Bayley. She's going to have to work with a lot of different people. She's the head of that division. If Nia Jax isn't as good as maybe what I'm expecting to be, I still expect Bayley to be able to have a decent match with her because Bayley is good enough. So, yeah, that's the show. I do believe that Nia Jax standing over Bayley, holding the title up in the air, will probably be the way that the show finishes.
So we could have Nia Jax and Bayley in London.
I think Nia Jax, Bayley in London, I think that's probably what it will be. And then maybe it might be along the lines of Asuka against Dana Brooke and Emma, because she keeps dominating them both singly, and she's like, well, if both of you want to come at me, then sure. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a tag team match. Don't know how that works yet, but still. So yeah, they're my predictions. I do think the show will be very good. Like I said, I think that match with Banks and Bayley will be great. I just don't think you can top what they did at Brooklyn. Like I said, it is basically their masterpiece. I don't think you can. I don't think the girls at where they are at the moment can beat that. It was that good.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I like is the fact that everyone's just like on Raw, they're like, the Revolution. It's like, yeah, it's all been in NXT.
Yeah, all the matches that we've raved about. The two matches that WWE have, let's just say, put forward as their match of the year candidates are both NXT matches, right? Yeah. Which are, funny enough, both women's matches. You got Sasha, Becky, and you got Sasha Bayley. I lean more towards Sasha Bayley, but it's certainly up there, the other match. So, yeah. On the main roster, Matt, they haven't had a match anywhere close to the quality of the ones they had in Brooklyn and at Full Sail for those two matches. So
no, but then who is still wrestling on the main roster? That's the problem.
You hit it there, Matt. So let's get on to our Raw review. What we've gone through so far has kind of gone over what I had planned, so we'll probably skip over a few of the more boring segments here. We're on the road to Hell in a Cell. This comes from Buffalo, this week's show. And as we said before, WWE are in a state of disarray. I get the feeling that they hoped that this particular show would prove a bit better. It did not, yeah. That's it. John Cena opens up the show. The Buffalo crowd aren't too happy to see John Cena.
They gave up on him too easily.
He told us to have no fear. The champ is here. And he says that the US title will be defended right now. And when he calls out a challenger, he doesn't get that. Well, he does, but he gets his own theme played via trombone.
I mean, there's one thing just quickly to throw out. It's like, do you notice how through the entirety of Raw, the crowd seemed really quiet? It's because they didn't have it up on the main display, on the main Tron.
Oh, you said, yeah. And the other thing, Matt, I forgot about...
It's all well and good, and they're just like, oh, well, I'm all the way back here, and some arsehole's got a sign. I can't see shit.
Matt, you brought this up to my attention, and just before we go into this, I should have brought this up just a little bit earlier. But
considering we're about to head into G. Coleman month.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to here now, man. Matt picked this up. I didn't. I'm sure a few of you guys maybe did. But
I must have sounded like a right arsehole on Twitter.
What do you mean? No.
Because I was just like, why is WWE giving up on their own damn charity?
Yeah, right. So they're going into Susan G. Komen month, so they're going to have the decal on the ramp, and they're going to have the rope, right? Rope. Is it 2 ropes that they have, pink, or just one?
Single. Yeah, the middle rope.
Just like they did for the other one, right, where they had the gold rope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt was saying here that they literally only did it for 1 week. I expected that to be going on for leading up until Susan G. Komen.
Well, it's because Cancer Awareness Month, Susan G. Komen gets pink the whole time.
Yeah.
And there's Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. We do it for a week.
Yeah, and as you say, man,
it's our own charity. Fuck it.
Yeah.
1 week.
That's very strange. I thought that was I didn't catch on to it initially, but yeah, that's very odd. I don't know whether it's just it went under their radar. Maybe it probably did. Vince probably freaking about the ratings makes way more of a priority than these fucking charities. That's what I imagine Vince probably thinks, right? He needs to make sure that he's got his company running before he gives any charity any sort of my mind's gone blank. What's the word? Publicity. That's it. Publicity. But yeah, it is a bit odd. And Matt picked it up as the social pariah that you are. You sniffed it out as soon as you saw it. So there we are. By the way, guys, you may not know, there is actually an episode where we turn the font of our show pink for a week, and that was for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep.
As it is something that's that myself and Matt, quite we want to do our own thing for. I've had family members have issues with that, so we do the same thing. So maybe over the course of when Susan G. Komen month starts up, one of the weeks that we do it with will have the pink text on it. And if I remember, The Rock was the cover star. You can actually go back and look at it. It's quite easy to shop because it's the only one that comes up pink. So we'll be doing that again for that. So going back to the show. So yeah, they do John Cena's theme via trombone. And obviously what we know is that we're about to be entertained because the New Day hop on out. And they decide they're going to challenge for the United States title. And it's going to be none other than Xavier Woods, who decides he's going to challenge for the title. Big E, by the way, says that he will make WWE great again. And there's only so much Big E can do, because he's certainly doing his own part to try and make WWE better again. I will give him that. Kofi says that the new Day should be called Scrooge McDuck, because they're going to be swimming in gold. I'm sure that reference flew over the heads of some of the youngsters in the audience who
That's
probably...
the one thing I quite liked is the fact that Woods had to explain it. That's a DuckTales reference.
Look, I understand. We're closer to 30 than we are 20, Matt. So maybe these younger kids just don't know the glory of DuckTales, shall we say? But
yeah.
But still, I'm not going to say that they didn't grow up in the golden era of kids TV like we did, because now, I'll actually sit down with my kid and watch Adventure Time and regular shows, so I can't really say too much. So
yeah.
There's that. So Xavier Woods gets his title shot. Good for him. I had worried that maybe he had forgotten how to wrestle over all this time of him being at ringside playing his trombone. So there had been that. So that's the opening match. Xavier Woods versus John Cena. After a little bit of tomfoolery by the outside, the referee does the unthinkable, Matt, and he ejects Big E and Kofi. And, man, unfortunately...
rightfully so.
It's regrettably that they had to, because, how entertaining would it have been for those guys just to be doing their thing at ringside like they always do? They're the most entertaining part of Raw easily each week, so yeah. I was genuinely sad to see Big E and Kofi trudge up the ramp on by themselves. I think, this is the thing, right? Because it suddenly flips the dynamic, because it becomes about Xavier Woods being the underdog rather than the odds being stacked against John Cena. It's Xavier Woods, the underdog, who hasn't won championships. You know, he's the tag team champion, but he didn't really win it. Going against the mighty United States champion John Cena. At least when you've got the New Day around the ring, then it makes it so they're actually heels, right? That they're actually... You know, I just thought it flipped the dynamic a little bit. Did you get that sort of feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really enjoy it anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of really... I thought the match was a bit stale. It was a bit boring, to be honest.
You know why? Because they ejected the New Day. That's why it was.
Probably.
Well, it looks like Xavier Woods is about to get beaten by Cena, and New Day come in, cause a DQ. The Dudleys come in for the save, which, oh man, all I have to do is just watch it. And I typed what happened before it actually happened.
And then sort of like, we're going to go to a commercial break. Okay, a 6-man tag match.
Yeah. I wrote that, moved on to and I started writing up the notes for the next match before they announced that match was going to happen. So that's part of the problem with WWE. They're too predictable. They're too set in their ways in certain things. And the way they do things is far too easy for someone like myself and Matt, long-term watchers of WWE, to spot these things from a mile away. And that's just the bottom line of it. There's a point in this match where Big E has Cena in a headlock. And I'm just reminded just how much of a mountain Big E is. I mean, he's fucking huge, right? He's a tanked guy. He's one of those people like, you know, I'd love to see Big E live, you know, like close in person. When we saw Kane live, once you see him in the flesh, that guy is far more hench than he looks like he's on camera. I can only imagine what Big E looks like, right? Like, but you and me were looking at each other going, fucking hell, Kane is fucking massive. The camera, for some reason, the magic of the camera makes them don't look nearly as intimidating. I would not want to say anything bad to Kane while standing in front of him. He is fucking huge. So, yeah, I imagine Big E's kind of the same. So, the New Day managed to scam their way to a victory over Devon. That's who they pin. And I was like, fair enough. I expect the tag team champions to win tag team matches in a heel fashion. Yeah. So, fair play. It's not often that you see John Cena on the losing side of a match on Raw. So, I'll take that, you know. Triple H and Steph are with Mrs. HR. I'm going to call her. Stephanie explains what HR means to Kane, which... as a character, as the director of operations for WWE, if he doesn't know what the words HR stand for, then maybe they need to find a new director of operations. That's just, you know. I think anyone that's worked a job knows what HR means. So, you're not going to come up with some witty thing that HR stands for. That is
I can't think of anything.
We've had too many shameless pay-per-view plots so far, man. That's what it is. So.
Okay. I will resist.
They explain that there's been a complaint for Kane. Rollins comes in, plays dumb. Of course, he's done it. And I want to know how Rollins escaped from hell, or as Crimson Omega dubs it, TNA. Just appears as if nothing's wrong.
Yeah, just like, hey guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, kind of makes the ending segment last week seem even more stupid in this reality era, by the way, that we have. So, there is that. Ambrose and Reigns are talking backstage. They're just basically talking about the rivalry that they have, and Reigns fighting Bray tonight. I had tuned out at this particular thing, and I have a rule: if I miss something on the show, then normally I won't go back and watch it, because if the show hasn't garnered my attention, I'm not going back to watch what I missed. You have a similar thing, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't miss much at all. No. It's rather than just sort of like, hey, I've got your back. It's like, nah, it's fine. I'm going to take care of this myself. No, but, you know, if they come out, I got your back. It's like, oh.
Okay, so that's
brother, and then Randy Orton turns up, and they're like...
Oh, so. Cool, yeah, I didn't care, and neither should our fans. Big Show beat Mark Henry.
You know what? You skipped that one. I skipped the Big Show.
I don't blame you.
I was like, I do not need to watch it.
I remember that there was a time that that me and Matt used to make jokes about us accidentally pinning Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett at the time.
Well, I've accidentally pinned Mark Henry today.
Oh, you did it again? Jeez.
I did.
Oh no. I tell you what was actually quite funny, Matt. I gave a call to my grandmother, and she's doing great, by the way, having a great time over
Has she
in England.
pinned Mark Henry?
Yeah, she accidentally pinned him today. Yeah,
That's
it was.
terrible.
It was a little bit uncomfortable for her, bless her, but she did pin him. So it just shows that everyone and their grandmother can beat Mark Henry at the moment. So, yeah, sure.
Unreal.
So there is that. Yeah, quick match, knockout punch. Show is getting built up for this match that he's going to have with Brock Lesnar. Actually, that's happening the night we record, and we will only be reviewing the match next week, the Brock Lesnar match. We're not going to review the entirety of the show because, to be honest, a lot of those matches I have no interest in. So that's just about
Tag match. Tag match, maybe.
Well, no, we were getting that at the fucking next pay-per-view anyway, I imagine. So I don't know. Still.
True. I mean, going back to the question from earlier.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. So I'm sure myself and Matt will find some time in the week, maybe later on in the week, to review the NXT show. But we're certainly not giving a separate video for live in MSG. We won't be doing that. We didn't do it for Beast in the East, and that was far more interesting. So, still.
Did we not?
No, we just talked about that on Raw. We didn't do a Beast in the East review. So.
Oh, okay. Of course we did. Oh.
We didn't even catch the actual main event of the night, which was that 6-man tag match. We both of us turned it off, so there is that.
Oh, yeah.
Matt, I say these two words, and, two things together, and I can make you shudder straight away. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Okay.
Miz TV and Divas. Yeah. Oh, down I felt it down my spine. Oh, it's a bit scary.
Cruel individual.
Tell you what, Hideo Kojima, he may have not been able to do the new Silent Hill game, but he could definitely do a horror movie involving Miz TV and the Divas. It's there. Just has to make the game out of it. So, Miz tries again. I don't know why he's doing this, as a heel no less, to try to get the crowd to say Miz TV, and he gets about 2 guys in row Z going, yeah, Miz TV, which equates to on the camera as so.
Yeah, which equates to nothing.
Yeah, right. I think it's kind of gone full circle for The Miz. I mean, he started his WWE career hosting the Divas Search. He went to become a champion, and now he's come back to basically being the buffer for female segments on the show. So it's come full circle for The Miz. So there's that.
And then to be, as Becky referred to him, as a sexy misogynistic pig.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, big words on Raw.
Yeah. Miz says that the last time that Charlotte and Lynch were on the show, they were decimated by Team Bella. Lynch fires back saying what you said there. Charlotte then calls out Paige, but Miz takes exception. There is more talking, and yeah, that's they all start arguing. Team Bella comes out, by the way, and start arguing about who started the revolution. Charlotte says that she started the revolution. The Bellas say they started the revolution. Paige comes down and says she started the revolution. And I started, just shut the fuck up. That's my whole thing to these girls. Shut up. No one gives a shit who started anything. So far, this isn't a revolution. And if it is, it's not one to be proud of. So shut the fuck
It's
up.
broken down into what it used to be.
Yeah. They're all arguing. Why, Matt, do you care who started the Divas Revolution? I couldn't give 2 rats out of 2 fucking... I couldn't care less over who started the revolution. All I care about is about things being good now. And these girls arguing about, I started the revolution, we started the revolution. It's like that whole thing where WWE was like, I'm the face of WWE. And they're rivaling over who's going to be the face of... No one cares.
No, I'm the tag team champion.
Even that was funny because they were making fun of it, right? Here they're trying to be serious.
Yeah, I know.
I tell you what WWE needs to do. They need to stop saying these 2 words, Divas and Revolution. They need to stop saying them. Like, shouting the words into the camera is not going to convince anyone that it actually happened, right? There's 3 things that they need, right, to make the Divas Revolution work. Hard work, first of all. Great wrestling, and intriguing storylines. Just saying the words Divas Revolution, arguing over who apparently started it, gets us where we are now, which is no one gives a fucking... No one cares at all about what's going on. No one gives a fuck. So I found myself at a time when they kept arguing about, we started the revolution. I was just like, shut up. Shut up. Just stop talking. It's bad. No one cares. I imagine a lot of our fans feel the same way. Did you get the feeling, Matt? It was just like, why are you talking about this? You know?
I lost a lot of interest.
I cannot believe that they've botched this Revolution the way that they have. I can't believe that they've done it. All they have to do is to watch what they did on NXT and just fucking copy it. Yeah, it might not work, but it'd be better than what we've got now. Jeez, it's like... Yeah, this segment sucked. The women are continuously having probably some of the worst speaking segments on the show back to back throughout all these weeks, and it's because the writing's bad, right? Having, upwards of 2 to 6 women arguing about who started a revolution doesn't get us anywhere. So they need to stop, essentially. Yeah. This does lead to a tag team match. Bearing in mind, we've seen these teams face each other constantly.
Yeah, PCB versus Team Bella.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's it. And for a long while, they don't even play up the fact that Paige had said all those things to Charlotte. Charlotte was treating her like her best pal, which I was like, okay. That's
they were kind of
annoying.
avoiding tagging her in sometimes, but it's just... a bit crap.
Yeah. They didn't play up it enough. Especially, the scathing promo she had last week. Jeez, you wouldn't even want to be around in the same room as her, let alone standing next to her and trying to help win a match, right? So, Paige does indeed walk out. Natalya tries to take her place. I don't think Natalya knows how matches work. You just can't do that. So,
yeah.
Paige leaves her laying at ringside. Rack attack later, and Nikki pins the champion, Charlotte. So they're leading up to this, the title rematch at the pay-per-view, which will not get anyone anywhere. They need to have matches between the NXT girls for that belt. That's how people are going to start getting excited. And I don't even dislike Nikki. I just think that she's the figurehead for everything that's wrong with the division, right? So,
yeah.
Having her still in these matches, high-profile matches, won't get this division anywhere, really. A video package for Brock Lesnar versus The Big Show comes up. It's an awesome video package. They show the stuff like the match at Survivor Series 02, the breaking of the ring. A lot of people forget that, where Brock Lesnar suplexed Big Show and caused the referee to break dance as the ring imploded on itself. You got that famous holy shit from Taz.
That's it.
On commentary. I think it's quite funny because they're building this up as a big marquee pay-per-view match. They're building this up so big, and they've got video packages, the epic music, all the awesome video content, and it's like, that Lesnar is not working a long match.
WWE Network exclusive.
Yeah. Well, it's not even that. It's like Lesnar's probably going to have like a tops a 5-minute match against Big Show. Then he's getting out. It's not going to be a long match. It's literally going to be Lesnar comes in.
Show, your fat ass is going to suplex it.
Yeah, right. It's going to be a couple of suplexes. Maybe Lesnar kicks out of a knockout punch. Lesnar hits the F5, pin 1, 2, 3. He goes and bangs his wife with a couple of extra digits in his bank account, right? That's how Brock Lesnar does his live shows, right? So, how quick was his match against Kofi Kingston? And yeah, I know it's different because you're going against the Big Show, but it's still a live show. He's not going to be hanging around. He's going to do his thing and leave. It's not going to be a 15-minute showcase by any means. So, there is that. Rollins and Mrs. HR is backstage.
Do you know one thing I noticed, actually, with Mrs. HR?
Mm?
They changed her outfit partway through the night.
Really?
Yeah, I suddenly just noticed, this sounds like just really terribly pervy of me, but suddenly out of nowhere, just sort of like, you didn't have that under your jacket. It's sort of like, it was quite low cut, and then suddenly all of a sudden it's just like, no, up to the neck.
Yeah, maybe they saw it and it's like, slap another show on this woman. Yeah.
Professional,
yeah.
Damn it.
You can imagine just Vince just constantly staring at it, and they all know that that's
that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Vince is oogling.
Yeah, we just stop this stat. So Rollins is handed his severed head from his statue. Kane says it's amazing what a man can do with a shovel and a flashlight. I like all the little nods here that Kane's giving. And then Kane gives Ashley some head. Sorry, Rollins' head. But there's no way that I can get around the innuendos there.
There was no escaping it.
There's
there.
no escaping it. So let's move on before anyone else gives someone else some head. Primetime Players versus Harper and Strowman. Now, I feel quite bad for our resident millions of dollars owners, shall we say. I don't know whether that's really the best way to say it. The Primetime Players, they've gone over quite a fall over the last couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
They went from being the champions, having good matches on pay-per-view, to losing the titles, and now playing the role they've done throughout the majority of their career, which is jobbing to other talent.
Yeah.
And now they're not even on the pay-per-view themselves, so quite the fall for PTP, and unfortunately, they're in a situation that I imagine feels, unfortunately, quite familiar to them. So, that's a bit bad for them. I did think this match was good. Strowman, they already are playing up Strowman to be dominating. Even on the apron, he just stands on the apron just fucking attacking people.
Just looking like a beast.
Yeah. He chokes out Titus O'Neil, and then the referee calls out for the bell. As I said before, I just think that should be his finisher. Not even the slam he is. That choke is good enough, you know.
Yeah.
As long as they educate people that it knocks people out and it finishes matches, there's no reason for him not to, keep running with that finish. So.
Yeah.
Stardust versus Neville. Stardust and Neville must be absolutely sick of wrestling each other at this point. They must be just tired of seeing each other, to be honest. It looks like Neville's got the match won. King Barrett comes down, makes his return, knocks out the pair of them, and he's still running with the King gimmick. The poisonous King gimmick is Barrett, and his return, by the way, was met with a very hushed response, shall we say.
It's like, yay!
Yeah, it was more like, oh, he's back. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, I hoped he had shed that King gimmick on his absence. No, he's still running with it, but hey, it'll only be a couple of more months until they realise that, again, that King gimmick has killed someone's momentum, and they take it off him and proceed to do nothing with the guy. So, the circle of the King of the Ring. It is coming complete. So we get to the middle of the show. The ratings aren't so good. So who are you going to call? Not the Ghostbusters, Human Resources. That's what you're going to call.
That's it.
I mean, yeah, exciting shit, guys, for the middle of the show. Let's have Kane's performance evaluation. Yeah, not exactly what I would use in the middle of the show. I maybe use a very intense, high-octane match. Maybe put some of your, like, the Lucha Dragons in there, maybe? No, let's just have a performance evaluation, sure. Kane and Mrs. HR are interrupted by Seth Rollins. Rollins plays a video package of masked Kane. Apparently this is Rollins' evidence of Kane being unable to keep his job. This is something that some people actually wrote. Rollins goes on to say that he's not going to hell, he's going to heaven. And
the Pope said so.
Yeah, he met with the Pope, and the Pope told him he's going to heaven. Someone actually wrote that meaningless garbage.
It's not the fact that somebody wrote it. Someone okayed it as well.
Yeah, right? What? I don't know. I have no words. Just whoever wrote that should go on a break. Maybe you just need a break. Maybe you just need to get out of the business. Maybe you just need to start writing.
Long holiday.
Yeah, start writing sitcoms or something, because I think that's maybe what you need to. I think you're done with wrestling, to be honest. Or just overused. There's a lot of things overused. I'm sure the writers there just feel like they haven't got a break. So, or as Paul Heyman said in his podcast with Austin, when you got the text from one of the writers saying fire all the writers, that wasn't a joke. That was them pleading for it to happen. So, still, we're in the reality era, people. As I said, it would be nice to actually have some characters that acted like normal people. People don't come out and just say stuff like that. Those are words that people don't say. So, yeah.
Sure, don't forget, real.
Yeah, reality. Real, right? No. Kane then shows footage of Rollins being a dick, essentially, and then Mrs. HR says that Kane is kind, he's thoughtful, and he's professional. He's the perfect WWE employee. And all the actual show aside, he actually is the perfect WWE employee, right? Apparently...
How is he not? He gives the company like 20 plus years, and not once does he really get injured.
Yeah, and he doesn't
ideal.
he doesn't get into trouble. He's saved all of his money. He has interests outside of the company in terms of, like, he's got his insurance, and he's done very well keeping his money and keeping his body in good nick. I've heard a lot of stories saying that Vince likes to tell people that the template of how you should work for the company is basically this guy, right? You should save your money. You should be thoughtful. You should be looking after yourself. You don't get into trouble. You don't bring that backlash on the company. When they're saying Kane is like the perfect WWE employee, they're actually being, that's not just in storyline. They're actually saying that for real. To them, is the perfect employee. So she tells us that Rollins is rude, petty, narcissistic, paranoid, and she clearly didn't like the dick pics that Rollins had sent her earlier on the night. But still,
like, I'm pretty sure like Rollins is fully aware of who this woman from HR is, because I'm pretty sure HR would have been involved in the whole dick pic scandal.
Exactly, right? Yeah. But isn't the first time Mrs. HR has spoken to Rollins about being a dick or showing his dick, right?
Yeah.
So, there we are. Rollins gets in Kane's face, and he drops the belt, so Kane goes to pick it up, but he gets a pedigree instead. And I actually like the dynamic of this storyline where Kane is gradually making Rollins so paranoid that he snaps. I didn't like where they went with it, but I like the dynamic of it.
Yeah.
And like I said before, this isn't the Demon Kane as much as WWE. Well, I guess maybe if WWE are trying to tell us that the Demon Kane is part of this. I look at it as if it's Kane the Man playing mind games with Seth Rollins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rollins takes a chair, he stamps on Kane's leg, which apparently breaks it, right? He's carted off in an ambulance, but the ambulance starts smoking up, gets all red, and then Kane, with his mask, reemerges. He does the zombie thing of where he walks and his leg is all muffed up, but then he miraculously
stomps on the floor, and that's enough to heal it.
Yeah, apparently it's miraculously healed. Which makes me think, how did Kane ever lose a match if he has illustrious dark magic along this line? He can magically heal whenever he's damaged. How has he ever lost a match? Doesn't make any sense to me. How was it that when Brock Lesnar broke his leg all those times, he just stamp on the floor, just goes straight back in?
That's it. Just done.
Yeah, I'm not that bothered about it, but still. So yeah, Kane comes back in with the mask and the gear. He lays out Rollins. I wouldn't have done this, Matt. I'll tell you what I would have done if I were booking. I would have made it so he didn't come back out. Kane gets carted off. It's not a big injury. He's injured for the next couple of weeks, but he's certainly not injured for a long time. Not injured enough that he would miss the pay-per-view, right? That's the important thing. And then they basically say that, Kane has put the authority back into a war with Rollins' actions, that legally they have to give him a title match to get Kane off their back, to stop him pressing charges against WWE. And basically putting them to the cleaners, taking all their money in a legal suit. So Kane had, he'd set this up all along, knowing that Rollins would snap and knowing that he would get his title match this way. And but no, they decided to go along this path. I wouldn't have done it, but still. Would you have gone my way, or would you have gone their way? How would you have done it?
Your way is better, because it goes for the length of it. This is kind of going back to what we were talking about, where stories need to go on for a while, rather than, we just need a fix tonight.
Yeah, we need to do we need to just do something quickly, which doesn't help us next week, and then we rush things. Yeah. And you can still have Kane coming out next week, but he's not ready to compete. But then he can start revealing on the mic that this was something that he could see happening, and now he's got his title match. And the only way that his ultimate revenge against Rollins isn't just to beat him up, is to beat him and take away the only thing he loves, which is the WWE World Championship. So
that he claims he got himself.
Yeah, right. That's the way that he deems that you don't just eviscerate Rollins, you break Rollins mentally, and the way you do that is by taking the title off of him. So And to see Kane take the title off him as well. That's the way I would have done it. They're going a different, more hokey route. I'm not as against it as much as a majority. Some people are just saying they're completely not into this storyline. I think it's okay. I think it's all right, but certainly I would have gone a different route going around it. Wyatt has a hazy Titantron promo. He asked Reigns if he saw the earlier tag team match. I'm sure that Vince is asking all the fans about every match at the moment. Did you see this match? Watch the match. We need fucking ratings, damn it. You're fired,
Why
fans.
didn't you watch it?
Yeah, he's going to start firing fans from watching the show if he gets pissed off too much. He accepts the match. That's pretty much all the promo was. Bo Dallas versus Randy Orton. Bo tells us that the Buffalo Bills in the front row. And he says that they're almost an inspiration, and says they are missing a Super Bowl trophy, but all they can get it. All they have to do, Matt, of course, is believe.
Believe.
Well, yeah, they need to believe, but they also need a better team. They need generally better players, a better coach, an all-star quarterback. But sure, believing matters a lot as well. I'm sure the Buffalo Bills, if they just believe, they can make it to the Super Bowl. With the team that they have, that isn't clearly good enough to do that. But sure, or you could just be Tom Brady and just get away with murder. Well, not really murder, but still. Matt has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about right now.
I am clueless to this all.
Sports, yeah. It's kicking WWE's ass at the moment. So, yeah. I get the feeling with Bo Dallas, Matt. This is in all seriousness now, that his figure and his frame doesn't help his chances of getting a push. He is not ripped. Let's just be honest. He's a lot chubbier than most of the guys getting into the business would look like. And while I disagree he should be penalised for that, because that is just his build. You look at his father, you look at his brother. They're not. Their build isn't that they're ripped guys. It doesn't mean they're any less athletes, right? They're just not that sort of guy, right? But Vince obviously must look at Bo Dallas's love handles and goes, well, I'm not really impressed with that. So, yeah, you're going to be a jobber as much as I can use you because your gut is hanging over your pants. So, there you go. So, while I disagree with it, Vince probably looks at it and goes, no. I've got Randy Orton here. He's chiseled out of stone. He looks like a star. You look overweight. So, that's the way he's going to look at it. But Orton wins this match. I don't know about you, Matt. Do you get the same sort of feeling? Like with Dallas, that's probably like his frame is one thing holding him back.
Oh, I don't know if it's the one thing holding him back. I think it's just the sheer fact that nobody can care about him.
Such a shame to see how much good work he was doing in NXT and to see where he is now. It's...
again.
Yeah.
NXT.
I say just send him back to NXT. Honestly, like if you want to build a brand, I think Bo can do much more good work for NXT. Look at Emma, right? She went back to NXT. I imagine that when she first went back, she felt a bit like a failure. Now she's on NXT each week. She's got a new gimmick, a new entrance music. People are back into her. She's having good matches. She probably thinks right now, I'm happier way more now than I ever was on the main roster, right?
Oh, everyone loves Evil Emma.
Yeah, I love it. Evil Emma's hot, right? She's very hot, So yeah, Orton wins this match anyway, and you didn't need me to tell you that Orton gets a victory over Bo Dallas, so don't know where I was going with that. What? Kevin Owens versus Ruru. Yes, I'm not letting this go. It's still going to stay. Ryback on commentary. The match doesn't last long at all, not even a minute before both men decide, you know what, we'll just beat up Ryback instead. I have no idea why Rusev would help the dirty Canadian Kevin Owens. He hates everyone else but Bulgarians and Russians, I guess. So
that's it.
There's that. I don't know, maybe he is a fan of Canada. Don't know. Maybe. Who knows? It'd be quite odd, isn't it, if he's like, I'm so pro-Bulgarian and Russian and hail to the the communist regime and all this stuff, and it's like, but I also like Canada. Just on the side note, just like Canada as well. So yeah, I thought this segment was an absolute waste of time because Ziggler comes down, lays out Ruru, and that's it. You expecting something else? No. They literally got. They shouldn't. The entrances of this match were longer than what the brawl and the match itself. So there you go. That's it. They show a bunch of clips of the WWE guys dancing for charity. Fair play to WWE for doing that. I would do it, but I have no moves. Just gonna say that right now. I'm a horrible dancer. Matt doesn't dance in general. So I think what we'll do instead is just buy a bracelet at Wembley. I think that's probably how we'll.
Yeah.
There's going to be no clips of myself, getting a little jiggy with it, shall we say? And me saying that word probably shows my age and how.
You, to be fair, you haven't gone na 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 along with it. So.
For some reason, I was thinking of the thong song. I don't know why.
That's not the thong song.
No, but I don't know why I'm thinking of the thong song. I don't know why. The thong. Anyway, moving on from the thong. I've put that in people's head now. I guarantee listeners now, they've got the track in their head now, and they're going to be singing about it all week. Just go. That's your YouTube homework. Go watch the thong song by Cisco. Yeah. Go back to that. Go back to the 90s, or was it 2000? I'm sure it was.
I think it was thousands.
Probably early 2000s, wasn't it? Probably. I don't know. Wow, didn't we go off subject a little bit there? Let's do a right turn and get back on track. Paul Heyman is in the ring, and you may be saying, Tony, are you excited for Paul Heyman being in the ring? Oh, I was excited, sure. Matt, I'm sure you were excited as well.
Always excited for Heyman.
But unfortunately, he talks about Big Show, and Big Show, being the almighty penis he is, decides to interrupt Paul Heyman in the middle of his promo. So we basically get nothing from Heyman, which I was quite sad about. That maybe makes Big Show the biggest heel of all time. Stopping a Paul Heyman promo.
But is he being a heel today?
I don't know. He might have turned already. Don't know about that. Don't know. It's Big Show after all. The man of 1,000 turns, as we call him. Heyman says that before Big Show comes out, that Lesnar wants to be pushed to his limits, and he's sure that the Big Show, when he's on top level, full momentum, he's a dangerous man and can push him to limits. But ultimately, he will go to Suplex City. Big Show just says Lesnar is scared of him. He knows it. And says that Heyman didn't promote the rest of Lesnar's tour because he's worried that Lesnar won't survive.
He won't be there for it.
Yeah. He tells Heyman to worry about a future without Brock Lesnar, which I'm sure that Vince McMahon probably worries about that himself quite a bit, especially the ratings being the way it is. But, like I said, I got excited about Heyman's promo, and WWE sure put a stop to some excitement there. So
yeah,
let's sit out the big show. Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. That is the main event of the show. Wyatt comes out with his boys by his side, and Reigns grabs the mic, calls him a bitch for not fighting alone. Then Wyatt sends the guys away, like he did last week before they did come back, of course. So,
yeah.
They end up fighting on the outside past the call of 10. This match is actually quite fun, I will say. They go all over the place. They fight on the outside long after the bell has been rung. And they really did go over here that Reigns didn't care about winning the match. He just wanted to fight.
He just wanted to fight it out.
Yeah, so I didn't mind this being a fuck finish, if you call it. It wasn't really. It was just it was a brawl, and I didn't mind it. It's here, Matt, where we witnessed the new foreign object in pro wrestling, which is a random production worker.
Yeah.
So I expect the random production worker to be picked up like a chair by Brock Lesnar and wrapped over the head of Big Show at the MSG event. So we need to have.
It's like I saw, like you see the picture going around. It's just like when you have to hit a motherfucker with another motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's just like.
That's it. Wyatt, basically spears Reigns through the barricade, kind of drives him through. As Wyatt is celebrating on the announce table, Reigns gets up and spears him through the announce table, which ends off the show. It was an awesome visual. The fans were up on their seat. They were chanting, "This is awesome," and the fans were totally into it. It's an action-packed explosion to end the show. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great ending to the show.
It was a solid finish.
Yeah. If you're going to have matches that you know, I wouldn't book matches that are the end result of a rivalry anyway, but if you are going to do it, then this is the way that you do it. Just two forces just banging against each other, and none of them can even get up, you know, at the end of it. That there's no conclusive winner. And maybe what they might do to finish this off and say is, okay, we'll do it one more time, last man standing match, considering that both these guys couldn't get up after the end of this particular fight.
Oh, I quite like the thought of going off to a last man standing match.
Yeah, there's something with that, right? So, still.
Although we did recently have Reigns in a last man standing match against Big Show, don't forget.
Yes, but that was so spectacular, that match, that I've already forgotten it, so...
Yeah. To be fair, so had I, until just suddenly I was thinking, Reigns in a last man, hold on a second.
Yeah, oh god, it's all coming back to me now, and remembering all... I actually remember that match being fairly okay, but still.
It was
alright. All in all, I thought that this was a boring show overall. I thought it had a lot of problems. The Divas is still infuriating me. I can't believe they're getting it so wrong.
Yeah.
When it's so easy to get right, in my opinion. It's not hard. And WWE were going through the paces here, and I can fully understand why the ratings dropped again. There wasn't any... bar the end, right at the end, right? Which, by the way, is the last, minute of a 3-hour show. So most people have tuned out by that point. That awesome moment with Reigns spearing Wyatt through the table. Bar that, there wasn't much else here to be excited about. So...
yeah, that's true.
I thought this was a boring action. I was expecting WWE to come out all guns blazing. They just did more of the same, and I was quite shocked that they were. I think next week will be better. Is next week the go home for Hell in a Cell? Is it that soon?
I think so.
I'm not sure. I know that the go home they have stacked up. They're trying to get a very big rating for that show.
I think it will be. I think it's next Monday.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Matt. Though, guess what started up? The NBA preseason. That means NBA season starts up soon. WWE are going to have a fucking hard time, right? So I may even look through the NBA schedule and see if there's any big matches happening on a Monday. And if there is, I'm sure WWE are going to have even harder trouble keeping those fans. You know. So there we are. Is there any other thoughts that you want to say for the show overall, or shall we wrap up?
Nah. Raw.
My throat is getting sore. That normally means that we're ending the show, so that's where we're going to go right now. Guys, we hope that you did enjoy episode 95 of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. As you can see there, that wonderful looking t-shirt, which I'm going to put over the frame of the video, so you can see it there. And Matt, if they want to tweet us at the show, what is the Twitter handle for the third?
At Talk Wrestle Pod.
Oh, it is. And if you guys do want to send us any questions, you can do so there or at the comment section below. If you want to join our over 400 fan base, then you can subscribe to the channel. And I'm sure, like I said, myself and Matt will endeavour to try and get a review of the NXT special next week. But apart from that, definitely we'll be back for episode 96. It's coming, guys, episode 100. And I cannot tell you guys how much myself and Matt have been working on that episode. We're going all the stops. We've brought people in to do extra stuff. I don't want to talk about too much what we're doing, but we're doing some extra things, and we're going to obviously have a new outlook on the show and everything like that. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a big celebration. The actual recording for episode 100, myself and Matt will be cracking over a few beers, I imagine. We're just going to be enjoying ourselves and celebrating what we've accomplished so far. So, apart from that, Matt, I think it's time to bid adieu to our fans this week. Our 400 fans. We'll catch you all next time. Hope you have a great week. I hope you guys enjoy whatever wrestling that you're watching throughout the course of this week. And I hope you enjoy NXT TakeOver Respect, which they're calling it. So,
exactly.
Alright, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
So we'll catch you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.